Right. Shalom Israel. We are the I.S.U.P.K. out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. We teach the so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Indians that we are the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel. Tonight is our Lashawan Qadash, which means holy tongue in the ancient Hebrew. Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. Our native tongue, our native language is what we call ancient Hebrew, not the so-called Assyrian Hebrew that they have today. Alright, so tonight we're going to get back into our language. And language is critical because it really shows and preserves who a people are. Because without that language, you will not be able to properly trace your heritage and your customs. Not only that, you will lose the value of who you are as a people, because that language brings context to you as a people. So tonight we're going to run back through just a few basic things. Those things are combined with the Hebrew alphabet, understanding prefixes and suffixes. That's what we went through for the last couple of weeks. Alright? And also now we're doing the combination of those prefixes, suffixes, and being able to put them together in actual words and sentences. And with that now, then you'll be able to get the construct of our language. Alright? So what we're going to run through briefly is the alphabet. So that is something basic that we have to keep on going through over and over until we are able to grasp the understanding of it. So if you are able to see on the YouTube and the Facebook, or more so the Facebook, you have the Hebrew alphabet here. These characters or pictographs, each one of them denotes a particular character. And with that now, it speaks of a particular language. So let's run back through the Hebrew alphabet. We have here the A. So we have A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha. Wa, Za, Ka. And this is Ka, like Ka. Ka, Wa, Za, Ka. Ta, Ya, Ka, La. Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa. Sa, I, Pa. Ta, Za, Kwa. Ra, Sha, Ta. So that is the basics or the building blocks that we need to speak our language in the future. Alright? So just tune in to all our Facebook and YouTube pages, ISUPK.com. Alright? And remember that we are not affiliated with any other religious group or organizations. And that is clear cut. And nothing else, nobody else can match. Under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. Alright? So, tonight, what we're going to do is just continue partially from where we were, which was the Lord's Prayer. Alright, last week, we stopped halfway through. Alright? So we stopped at, well, we just run it back through. Right, so for those who don't know what the Lord's Prayer is, it says found in Matthew 6, if I'm not mistaken, Matthew 6 and 9, all right, which is where we get the so-called Lord's Prayer. And it's a very familiar prayer, right? We say, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth. Now we see this prayer is being prayed for so that His will be done in earth. A lot of Christians want to die and go to heaven, but that is their choice. If our King Yahushua, who the world calls Jesus Christ, is praying a prayer and telling us this is what we need to pray for, why does the Christian church tell us to pray to go up to heaven? So you see where that lack of understanding of the scriptures are. Alright? So we say, in earth as it is in heaven, give us this day our daily bread. And that is very important because this is something for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We don't have things in abundance. We are under captivity. You understand? And every day is a struggle for us to be able to function, to maintain ourselves, to maintain our families. And this is the real struggle we have to go through every single day. Alright? Our debtors. You understand? Which is also critically important. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us. Right? I believe we stop at our debtors. Right? Give us our daily bread and forgive us our debts as we forget our debtors. Right? So what we're going to do here now is, first we're going to go into the Hebrew. Right? As you know, Hebrew is written from right to left. English is written from left to right. So what you're writing here now is, and forgive us as we forgive. Right? As we forgive in the Hebrew is kasalak nawa. And if you remember the prefixes and suffixes, you'll be able to understand where we're going with this. Right? So we have ka, sa, lak, L-A-C, kasalak, nawa. Right? So ka, salak, nawa. So if you remember from the prefixes and suffixes, you have ka, which is a prefix, and we have nawa, which is a suffix. If you remember what ka is, salake, you remember what ka is in as a prefix? Even as we follow the prayer itself, they say, forgive us our debts as we, as or like. So ka means as, right, or like. Kasalak, nawa, as or like. Salak means to forgive. And if you look at the tense, who we forgiven? We forgiven as we forgive our. And as you can see, nawa means our. Or it can mean we. Alright? So it means our. Right? So this is kasalak nawa. As like as forgive our. So if you read it from here, kasalak nawa. Now in the Hebrew, what that is written from right to left, let me use another color. So you get some more definition. So I say it's ka salak nawa. So ka sa la na wa. Now this is in the ancient Hebrew. So it's ka, sa, lak. So if you understand, good. Kasalak. So it's connecting. Kasalak. Na. Wa. So here we have now English, which is pronounced Kasalak na wa, which means ka, which is as or like. Salak means to forgive. Alright? Salak means to forgive, and nawa means our. Which means as we forgive our, and then translate back again to the next sentence. So it's ka, sa, lak, noah. Understand? You have to be able to pronounce it properly. And again, as any other language, we need to be able to get the proper pronunciation. Because without our proper pronunciation, you won't be able to get the full expression of the language. Right? So I'll give you all a minute or two just to take this down. So it's pronounced Kasalak Noah. Kasalak Noah. So this is Ka Sa Ka Na Wa. And again, the connectors are extremely important to be able to understand the pronunciation of the words. And as you can see, with some words, with the prefixes and the suffixes, you get to understand how it's changed or deviates the word or the sentence that is being written. Alright? So we're going to get into that now. Alright, so you're good with this one? Yeah. Alright. So we just had as we forgive our. Alright? So as we forgive our debtors. Now previously last week we wrote debtors. Debtors in the Hebrew is kawawaf. Kawawaf means debtors. So we're going to write it here. It's ka wab waf. This means debt. Means debtor. Right? So we have as we forgive is kawawaf yanawa. Right? So ya Noah. So as we know, ya means mine. Or he. So it gives it a that. Right. See, as we forgive our debtors. So this gives it the plural. Our debtors. Nawa. Kawawat. Yanawa. It's actually one word, but I write it this way because of the space. Kawawat. Yanawa. That's how it's spelled. So if we write it back here now in the Hebrew, right? So I use a different color just to give it contrast. So you see we have ka, wab, waf, yanawa. So as we know, nawa means our, and ya means as. I should say, or is he in the prefix, right? And is my in the suffix. So this gives it the plurality. So looking at this, so we're going to write it in ancient Hebrew from right to left. So we go in ka, wa, as ma. So we're going ka, wa, b, ka, wa, wat. So you come here, wath, ya, noah. Now, and we have the wa here. So, looking at it here clear, it's ka, wa, wath, ka, wa, ka, wab. So see it here. Or ka, wab, waf, ya, na. Wow. Understanding the placement of the connectors is critical in ancient Hebrew. So you have ka, wab, was, yanawa. Alright? Our debtors. So, alright, so you'll have this down here, ready? Good? Right. So we're going to move on kind of quickly so we can finish the Lord's Prayer. Because this is just like a revision, because this is something that we say almost every day. But to bring some more life and more context to it, getting to understand the actual translation of it is critical. And when we recite the Lord's Prayer in the ancient Hebrew, which is the holy tongue, the Lashawan Qadash, there's more force, there's more power in it. Right? So, saying the prayer, so we are, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. That's what we just said. Kawawaf, you know what? Right? And lead us not into temptation. So this is what we're going into here now. And lead us not. Right? And lead us. Wala'a. Right? So we're going wa. Because wa is and. Wa. La. A. So we see where we have a prefix and a suffix. So we know why is and la is not. In this case, it's one. Not or no. Wala'a. So I don't know if you're able to see it properly in the context or clear on the Facebook. Wala'a. Probably use this darker marker here. Right? Wa la a. So if I ask you, do you want any bread? La a. No. Or not. Do you want some water? La a. That means no or not in the ancient Hebrew. Can I go outside? La a. That is how some of the context we can be able to use. Right? This part of it, which is la a. So it's two words, and no, and not. You can use in context. Right? So that is wa la a. So in the Hebrew, so you have wa, la, a. That is the context. Wa, la, a. Like, share, and subscribe. Share it on all your Facebook and YouTube. It's time for us to come back as a people. Right? So we have wala'a. Wa, la'a. And is wa, la'a means no or not. Two of them together and not. Wala'a. And lead us not. Right? So we're going to Thaba. Thaba Ayanawa. That's the next word in Lord's Prayer. So it's Tha, Baya, again, Nawa, lead us. Nawa, it means us, our, or we. Right? Sabaya means to lead. And in this context is us. Lead us. In the ancient Hebrew, this is why it's important to learn and understand the alphabet. Because once you get that, Sabaya, again, Sabaya Nawa. So you have Sa, Ba, Ya, Nawa. Tabaya means lead us and lead us. So in this way it looks this way because how English is written. But if you read it in Hebrew, Tabaya, lead us. Comes this way, lead us. Lead Tabaya, Noah, us. So we're looking to go into the other aspect and lead us not into temptation. Lead us not into temptation. So that's what we're going into now. And lead us not into temptation, which is in the Hebrew, Banasaya 1. So we have Bana, right? Bana, Sa, Yawan. Banasaya 1. As you know, Ba in a prefix means in. Right? So Ba right? So Ba is in. But now into. Into and Sana Saya 1, which is one word, is temptation. Bana Sai 1. Saya 1. Bana Saya 1. In the Hebrew, Ba Na Sa Ya Wa Na. Bana Saya 1. And in this case, we see where right? Ba Na Sa Ya 1. And in this case, if you're writing it in English, it will be into temptation. This is how we will be reading it. Into temptation. Because we read from right to left in ancient Hebrew. Right? Into temptation. English has it. Banasaya 1 here. Reading left to right into temptation. But it's the same thing. Right? But as we start to learn our original language, we'll start to get more accustomed to how we're supposed to read our original language. Right? So that's Banasaya 1 into temptation. A lot of Christians, or to be more specific, the Christian church does not even understand the Lord's Prayer. They have no clue, no idea what that prayer really means, or to be able to fathom what Christ was actually really trying to teach his disciples. Because it wasn't just, something you could just say by a woman or fancy and, all right, I'm saved. I say the Lord's Prayer and I get through. I say the Lord's Prayer and, them demons run. That is a misconception. And a lot of people just so-called religiously say the Lord's Prayer and don't have a clue what's the meaning or the power behind it. And this prayer in its genesis was not for everybody. So the so-called white man, so-called Chinese, so-called African, so-called East Indian, so-called Scandinavian, no matter who he is, everybody want to quote the Lord's Prayer. Every monk, every imam, everybody want to quote the Lord's Prayer, when the Lord's Prayer is not for them. And that is the reality of it. That prayer was for Israel and Israel only. Alright? So that's running through. So we reach here now. Lead us not into temptation, right? But deliver us, right? Which means we stopped at Banasaya 1 into temptation. A ball, how was shy, no what? And that would sound familiar. Right? A ball but means as a prefix means or I am. But in this context, a ball, one word means but. But in the Hebrew is a ball. A ball, being more specific. Alright, so we have a ball, which means but. And we're going to go through some vocabulary words as we go in. We're going to get to some tenses when we finish the Lord's Prayer, which we are almost complete. So we're going to go into some present or some future, present, past tenses. Alright? So we're going to go into that in a minute. Babu Kusha, have any what was it? To water. So we go into our shine over, but deliver. Here, to water. Our shine Noah and deliver us. Again, Noah means our, us, we. Our shai means to deliver, or to be more specific, salvation. When you're delivering somebody, you save them, right? And deliver, Yahweh Shai is the name, or we call our king. He is our deliverer. Right. And deliver our Shai Noah. So, Ha Shai Shai Noah. Our Shai Shai Noah. Deliver or salvation in this case. So deliver us, and writing it exactly how it's written in the ancient Hebrew in the same direction, it would be, I don't think you will see that. So that I use this darker so you see here now, so it would be deliver us in this context. Reading it this way. Deliver us. That is our Shai. Our Shai is deliverer. Alright, so we move on. We're putting some time in understanding the tenses. Right. So we have our Shai Noah, Mayan Rai Kaya. So Mayan Rai. And we have Kaya. As we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us. We just write Yahweh Shai Noah. Yahweh Shai Noah, which means deliver us. What the other nations were also doing to the children of Israel, which was part of it. So we have Mayan Rai. So Mayan in the Hebrew means portion. Right? Rai means evil. Evil. And Kaya means which. It can mean which, that, or the. Right? right, which pertained to anyone in context. So we have, and deliver us from evil. That portion, from evil. So we have mayan. So we have ma, which is a prefix, which means of or from, right? Deliver us from evil. So deliver us from this portion of evil. So you could also, it means mayan. You could also put from the prefix ma. So deliver us from evil. And if you write it back, writing it now in the ancient Hebrew, right? So you see, we go in mayan, ma, ya, mayan, rai. Again, rai means evil. And kaya. Kaya mayan, rai, kaya, which means deliver us, right, from evil, right? Deliver us from evil. So we have Hawa Shainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, which we just stopped at there. After Kaya, we have Laka. So deliver us from evil, for thine. So we say thine means possessive. Possessive who? In the third person. Who we speaking about? The kingdom. Who the kingdom belongs to? It belongs to the Most High. So we're letting him know in the prayer, this is his kingdom. Thine in this context. So we're going to write those last few pieces. Right, so Laka means thine. La in the prefix means two or four, and ka means your. So thine. So in this case, in Trinity context, who it belongs to? It belongs to you. It belongs to thine. This is thine kingdom. Right? Hamalakwa. Ha. Malak. And as we know, alright, so that'll be good. I'll just put it just below so you need to get it understand. Hamalak. Ha. Malak. Waf. Right? Does anybody remember what malak means? We've used it a few times. Malak means king. Means king. Malak, what should I say? Laka hamalak waf means thy. So in this case, it means thy kingdom. Because it's his kingdom. Thy, malak means king. Waf is the feminine, backdrop. Because when you look at it, what does a king have? A king has rulership. A king has dominion. So it gives it the feminine sense of this is the masculine, and he rules over the feminine aspect. So it's malak, it's ha malak waf. Ha malak waf, thy kingdom. So it's king or domain. Right? In this case, kingdom. So thy kingdom. Right? Thy kingdom come. Right? So thine is the kingdom. Right? So I'll take off this piece. So we're almost there. So I'm going to write out the last few. So we have hamalak waf, wala'a, right, wala'a, right, this is pronounced wa, ha, sa, ha, araf. Wa, ha, sa, pa, araf. Right? And in this case, you see here, waha, and, which means and, the. You have two prefixes here. Sapaharaf. Sapaharaf means glory. Showing the glory of the Lord. Right? Wow. In this case, it's Waha'ala. So it's Waha. Allah. Waha. You say and in context. And this means and the. Allah means power. And the power and the glory. See it here? So if you realize there's similarities. Waha Allah, Waha Thapa Araf. You know Wa'a or Waha is two prefixes, and the. So and the power. Allah means power, or Allahayam, the powers. Makes it plural. Allahayam. You understand? Means the powers. It gives it that plurality. Yam makes it plural. So it's Allahayam. But in this case, speaking about one. And the power. And the power. And the glory. Waha Thapa Araf. Thapa Araf is glory in the Hebrew. Don't worry, when you get a chance, go back, look it over again, pause it if you need to pause, just to be able to get it right. Which is the important thing. Again, this is something that you have to take your time. As we just say in our local parlance, take your time but do quick. You understand? Take your time but do quick. It's a kind of, I think you call it an oxymoron, if I'm not mistaken. You know, it's like polar opposites. Right, so we just had Waha'ala, Waha'ala, Wahasapa Aras, which means and the power and the glory, right? We're coming on to the last two, which is La'ai, Wa'ai Walam Yam. Right? La'ai Walam Yam. And the power and the glory forever. In this case, prefix la means for. And in context, and deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. La'ai walamyam. So this is for or forever. That is singular. Yam. La'ai walam yan, or in this case, La'ai walam yam, makes it in plural sense, which really means forever. And we have the last context here. Aman. Aman. Which means, if anybody want to guess, Amen, as we would want to say. So we're going to write La'ai Walam Yam forever in the ancient Hebrew, this will be the last one. So in this case, starting from the right to the left. So it's La. Still think I'll tell you that there's some darker markers. Right? This contact here is La, I, Wa, La, Ma, Yam. Ya, Ma. So you're going La, I, Wa, Lam. That's it. Connector, Lam. Right? So you're going La, I, Wa, Lam, Yam. So it's La, I, Wa, Lam, Yam. So that's it there. In the ancient Hebrew, La, I, Wa, Lam, Yam. And we have the grand finale here. You have the same? Good? Right. A man. And a man simply means so be it. Whatever we have prayed, so be it, let it be. So this is the Lord's Prayer. We just did that breakdown from the English into the ancient Hebrew, so that you'll be able to get context and understand what each word means. Alright, so we're going to switch gears a little bit. I'm going to understanding some tenses. Alright? Just give me 1 sec. Right, so we're actually going to use the present tense, past tense. Also going to go into the future tense and the possessive adjectives. We won't be able to go through everything tonight, but we definitely will be able to go through some of it. So we're going to go through first is understanding the form of feminine adjectives and masculine adjectives, right? Which is critical for understanding the masculine and feminine form of the words and how it should be applied. Right. So what we're going to go into is some very familiar words that we will see. So for example, If I ask you or ask somebody, how is everything? Locally, you say, I good, I normal, I cool. But the most common thing when somebody asks, how are you? You would say, I good. You understand? So saying that in Hebrew is thawab. So you have to understand the context in using thawab. So, good. You can say, how is everything? I good. Good in the ancient Hebrew is pronounced tawab. That's it in the ancient Hebrew. Open it across just to make out more space. But tawab means good in the ancient Hebrew. Right? So that's it. Tawab. So we understand there's a masculine form of the adjective and there's a feminine form of the adjective. Right? So if you want to go to the feminine form of the adjective, right? The feminine form of adjective would be ha. Right? And if you understand the feminine form of the adjective, when it's added on to the end of the word, ha means her. When it's added on to the end of the word. So if you're writing it in the feminine form, you have tawab. Writing it in the feminine form, you would have tawab ba. Under space. But I want to make sure you all see this on the YouTube. You're going thawa ba. Thawawa. That is expressing it when you add on the female or the feminine adjective thing. Right? So ha, but in this case, you're not using the a, right? Because it's joined. And to understand it, writing it in the ancient Hebrew, so here, ta, wa, ba. This is the wa. So when you add the feminine adjective thing, will lead into this here, which is tha, wa, ba, so wow, which means good in the ancient Hebrew. So wow, how everything going, boy? That's how we say it in our slang. How everything going? Everything good? Yeah, I good. So wow in the ancient Hebrew. So wab. It's ta wa ba. But in this case, it's not just ba, it's tawaba. Tawaba ha. But you're not pronouncing it as ha. It's pronouncing it as h. Tawaba. So that's it. In the ancient Hebrew here, ta wa b. Ba and ha is pronounced ba. Tawaba. 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 So that is good. In the ancient Hebrew, pronounced in the as a feminine adjective. So I'm just going to show you two more masculine and feminine forms that we also use in a lot of words, in the construction of a lot of words. So we have plural masculine, and we have plural feminine. Nice. So when these words are added to the end of a construct or to the end of a word, it gives it either a feminine nature or a masculine nature in terms of the plurality of the word. So when you add the form of yam, this is for the masculine, right? This is for the plural aspect, or wath for the feminine. So we have ak, for example. So we have ak, yum. Now ak in Hebrew means brother, and wath means sister. So you see here, or sisters. Yum in context, see if I can get this here, means brothers. As brothers and sisters. Right, so we have Akyam, which means brothers, and Akwath means sisters. Now this aspect here, this is what gives it the plurality of what you're talking about. I'll show you the singular aspect in a while. So you have Akyam with his brothers, Akwath, which is sisters. So you have the plural masculine, plural feminine. Use a darker material. those who could see it. Brothers, sisters. Alright, so we have that we work with. Right, so we have Akiam, Akwaf, masculine, feminine. So this also it denotes the gender of who he's speaking to. So he's speaking to a group of people and speaking to a group of sisters. So speaking to a group of sisters, Waf. Speaking to a group of brothers, you would see Yam. So Akiyam gives in plural masculine, plural feminine for Akwaf. So you get this one off. Like, share, and subscribe to all our channels. We have classes, 4 days, no, 5 days a week. We have Sunday, we have Officer, our camp leader, Officer Galawan. That's Sunday night. We have Monday, we have the history class with Officer Makako Bal. We have Tuesday Brotherhood class with Officer Sawapiala. Wednesday class, the law class, very critical, with Officer Mathkwayak. Thursday, we don't have any local class. We have our General Mahaiman, the scripture breakdown. Also, don't forget on Mondays we have Black Watch with Commanding General YAHANNA. All the heavy topics, everything that's happening throughout the world, Commanding General YAHANNA breaks it down and shows us the end times, shows us everything that's happening with our oppressors and what we can do to come out of this system, come out of her, as the scriptures talk about. Right? Then we have Fridays, we have myself, Officer Yakar, with the Lashawan Qadash. Then we also have our Sabbath service on Saturday as well. Alright, so 6 days we have our local classes, and it just keeps rotating, coming over, so that you can be able to get that information, get that knowledge, get the understanding of who you are, Black man, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. Alright, so we're going to go again once more. We have right, what we have here. Right, so we're going to go into just to understand how to write the masculine and the feminine in the Hebrew. The plural aspects of it. We have Yam, and we have waf. Right, so you have yam and waf. Both of them are connected and joined. It's like you can read it in that one. Alright? Oh, this one. So we have here the plural aspect written in the Hebrew. We have yam and we have waf. So we're going to go direct into some tenses. So we're going to go into understanding the present tense. So we're going to talk or speak in the present tense. So speaking in the present will be like I, you, I am. You're speaking about here and now. I am. What I am going to do present. I am. To be. Right? He. So we learn he is. She is. So we're going to break down those tenses of the present when we speak into each other in the ancient Hebrew. So we're just going to go through a few. So we're gonna, if we're saying like to be, so we're going to go into the present tense. So if we're going to go, let's just say, let's use a topic, let's say, I am watching, or I am watching TV. Speaking to someone and say, what you're doing right now, what I'm doing right now, presently, I am watching, let's say television, I'm watching sports, I'm watching something. So we're going to use a context of the present. So watching in the ancient Hebrew is Yashawama, Yashawama, right? Or Shamawa. So Sha, Mawa, in the ancient Hebrew means watching. Shama Wa. It's lucky, not Shama Wa, Shawama. Different context. So it's Sha, Ma, Shawa, Ma. So it's Shawama means watching in the ancient Hebrew. So if I'm saying I am watching, if we remember, what I or I am is in the tense, or I should say from the prefixes, we understand that I am or I, now there's the masculine form and then there's the feminine form. So if I am watching is Aya, Anya, I should say. I am. Anya, Shawama. I am watching. That's will be the tense I'll be looking at. So, we say I am watching. Well, this is the present tense. What are you doing? I am watching television. I am watching the sunset. Anya Shawama. This is the context. I am Anya. If I am watching, let us understand the other aspect. So if I'm saying you are watching, I understand the context. You. The masculine form, the feminine form. So it's present tense for the individual, and then you have to use the present tense in the second or in the third person, but then there's also the masculine if it's speaking to you, or the feminine because I can be speaking to a brother or I can be speaking to a sister. So to understand the context, there is that difference. So we look at I am watching, which is Anya Shawama. Once you have that done, just this last one. You can read it, but you did off camera. Right? So we have this last part here. Right. So we just had I am. I'm going to write back the watching, which is Shawama. Watching. So when I write you watching, now saying you watching is the context of the masculine aspect and the feminine aspect. So in the masculine, we have it here as afar. So afar, Shawama is the masculine, which is you watching or you are watching. Afar Shawama, Remember, shawama means watching, or shema also means to keep watch. But in this case, watching is shawama. So atha, shawama is you watching. So I think we're going to hold up here for tonight. We're going to continue to see and learn every single week. We're going to be able to get and learn more and more each week. And just as any language, just as a newborn baby, just as a child, a young child is going to school, you're taking piece by piece. Even as an adult, you will realize when you're picking up or trying to learn a new language, a new subject, a new topic, some persons have the ability to grasp real quickly. Others don't have that ability. But there's a balance. So once you're able to stick with it, get to understand your language and your customs, and it's something that is natural that you will be able to understand and be able to familiarize yourself with our ancient and our original language. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West on 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yahanna. Right? We're going to continue to teach our so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Indian brothers. And we're going to continue to keep and give ourselves the knowledge through the strength of the Most High power, and through the men, the priests and the prophets who the Most High laid down. And the man who's in charge of Israel right now is commanding General Yahanna and all the generals. We have our local camp leader here, Officer Lashawan. He is the one that is over the Trinidad camp. If you need any information, go on our Facebook page, our Twitter, YouTube, ISUPK.com. You'll be able to get all and every information that you need to be able to understand who you are as a person, not just as an individual, but to understand you where you fit in this whole cycle of bringing our nation together. We see how this coronavirus came and totally decimated our communities, not just here, all over the world. We're going to understand there's a great divide that comes, and that divide is showing us that we need to come together. We need to stick together. So-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. We all are one people. We are the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel. So tonight, we're going to end the class here, and we're going to continue next week in learning our holy tongue, Lashawan Qadash. And I pass the class to Priest and Officer Sawapyala.
Security announcement. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under command General Yahanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They have to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After the 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18 verse 21 and Malachi chapter 3 verse 8 to 10. Means tenth in Hebrew and is pronounced Ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. The Lord gives to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation, this will be announced by Commander General Yahanna, the Lord's Passover, and the next feast day will be the Feast of First Fruits, which is June the 5th, right? Remind Akium and Aquatium to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, like shirt, like pants, like headbands or scarf,